add anchor point, and then simply curve this line so it just is in the black. It doesn't fucking matter how ugly and fugly this line is, just make sure it's all within this backbone of the wing. Now, you curve these out to make the cool dragon-esque shape. Bat wing, whatever you want to call it. Alright. I might drag anything like this actually. And then drag it out. There we go. So, now I'm going to fill this in with a random color for now. It doesn't matter. And I believe it filled it in with a gradient. I did not mean to do that, but it doesn't matter. So you could fill it in with a solid color, whatever. I'm going to go over this anyway. So now, your backbone, whatever layer is on top, the reason you had to get the line within the black is so it doesn't stick through like that, you know? That way it looks smooth. So with the tendon, whatever, the skin layer selected, go gradient overlay. And I'm going to select basically just my bright green to white gradient. Except I don't want the green to be quite that bright. That's a little obnoxious bright, you know. Good way, if you don't know the colors, just reference the colors on your shield already, you know? It's like this. That way you know the colors are going to match, you're guaranteed of it. Okay. I'm going to do that. Not too shabby, right? So now I'm going to make a group because it makes it easier. So you click group and then drag it in there, drag it in there. So now you have your wing in a group. You can close your group, double click on the name, and you can just name this like right wing. It just makes it a lot easier. Same with here. I'm just going to make a group. I'm going to drag all this shit is for the main shield, as you can see. I'm going to drag it all in there. I'm going to call this main shield. Oops. Like I said, I'm fucking tired. My keyboard's being a bitch. There we go. Main shield. This just fucking makes it a lot easier. You know what the fuck you're doing. And you can just drag this under, and it drags all the layers at once for you. Now, if you have a group selected and hit Control J, it's not going to copy it. It's not going to happen, right? So you might be like, what the fuck is it in a group for? Well, fear not. With your group selected, say what if you hit delete? Oops. Alright, delete does work. Never mind. Scratch that. But Control J to copy does not. So I drag it down to here, which is the copy button, and then boom, you have a copy. Obviously, name it left wing, or whichever order you did it in. Edit, transform, horizontal. Now, to get the fucking, the wings, oops. See, you can drag a group into a group like I did, and then you have a group within a group, and then, but I don't really want to do that. So I'm trying to drag this out of here. Okay. Left wing, right wing, both above. Now I just want to make sure that I want to connect these on top so I can see what I'm doing, because when you're trying to drag them around behind the fucking shield, this gets hard to do, right? So now they're centered, they're even, but I want them further out. So once they're centered, I'm just going to use the arrows. 2, 3. Alright, I just use the arrow keys. That way you know they're not going to go up and down. And I counted to 40 clicks of the keyboard. You heard me count, that's what I was doing. That didn't count quite right, but whatever. Alright, so that's not bad, right? Might not be quite as nice as this, you just kind of go lower, but obviously, if you want it to look more like this, just make your wing go lower. It's not that complicated to do. But that ain't shabby. Quick way to test if it's decent, you just do that. Yep, and the two weak points come together. Now for text. Text is trickier than it would seem. As you see here, it kind of seems like it actually flows with the 3D of the shape. Now I realize this is not perfect, this is kind of quickly done, but it's not actually flat text. Flat text stands out. I'll show you right on here actually. This is the exact same font size. I'm going to write Maliki in white. I'm going to drag it up top. Alright, oops, it's not caps though. So let me cap that out. Alright, as you can see, it's the same font, same size, except a little difference from where I'm edited it, but I'll even put a gradient overlay like I put on there. Do something like this. And a stroke. It's a 2-pixel stroke. Okay, clearly this one is much flatter. This one really doesn't look like it flows with the 3D shield. This one ain't perfect, but it looks a lot better. And the technique for this one can be perfect if you really want to fidget with it for that long, right? So, back to my shield. I'm going to put Maliki again, so everyone knows who the G is that made this. Again, I'm using Helvetica for these tutorials. I'm not going to go download fonts for a tutorial. I'm just going to keep using Helvetica New. It's a good default font to have ready at your disposal when you don't really give a fuck. So I'm going to center it. Now, I centered it. I want 3 letters on each side. But the problem is, the M is very close to this edge, while the Y is quite a fucking while off, right? So, if I bring it perfect center though, the L gets cut off. I don't want the L to get cut off. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring it back to here. Put my text tool, click between the letters where I'm having issues. Go to Window. Go to Character. This window with all sorts of threatening looking options is going to pop up. What you care about is this. This is called kerning. Kerning is the distance between the letters. So, to make the center easier, I'm going to want to increase the distance here. You could have made this 2 text files, MEL, and then a new text file, EKY. But I'm just going to do kerning. So look, you might not have seen it there, but if I go like 80, you're going to see it. There you go. Obviously, a big difference. I'm going to try just 50 and just see what it looks like. So now I'm going to center it again. Again though, it's not quite good enough, I don't think. So I'm going to do 80. Which just should allow me. Alright. It's not too bad, but I'm trying to fuck around a little bit, see what I can get here. Yeah, I mean, it's still tricky to line up because it's just the amount of letters basically is going to give us issues. So I'm just trying to do fucking 20 just to give me a bit more space. And it already looks a lot better. Okay, I'm just going to keep this here. It's what it looks like if you might already have it up. So we continue with our text. I'm putting a stroke. A black stroke. 2 pixels. Actually 3. Depending, I want it to match this. This one's 4 around the shield, but 3 looks very close and it seems to flow with it. I'm going to drop the opacity. The reason being, I don't want this stroke to be a big, bold standout like that. That throws off the 3D. But I do want the letters easier to read, so a little bit of stroke. And where I'm going to fix the ugliness is with some gradient overlay. So black, bring it out like that, you know. And then just decrease the opacity until you're happy with it. And there you get a bit of a 3D look already. Now it's not quite right yet. Okay. Leaky with wings. Not too shabby, right?